What's going on, everybody? Dogman Dan here. We are in Warframe, and I've got Spindex with me. He wanted to get in on the missions, so I'm taking on one of my syndicates. I'm actually in the process of messing around with my Loki Prime, the Vectis, and yes, you see it, the AkBolto. I have not touched these guns in forever. I am considering reworking the AkBoltos, so we'll see. What I've done, and what I'm basically going to be doing here, is kind of going through this mission. It was like my hardest one for the new Loka for the day, I guess. And we're going to be testing out the setups I've put on here for the two weapons and Loki Prime. And I'm probably going to adjust Loki Prime a little bit more still. I've got some other ideas. Whoa! Spindex is messing around with his Loki as well, so it's going to be an interesting one. Yes, I said the AkBoltos, right? You put those to the side because there's 10 million other weapons. But these were one of my favorite pistols. And I'm going to fail here for some reason. Yeah, okay. Yes. There we go. Okay. They just need some work on them. Honestly, I have a few open like slots on them, so I never even finished it off. You know, I just built it to 30 and ran them as they were. Cool. Sorry, I was reading the messages. Yeah, I built the AkBoltos a long time ago, you know, before they had a million mods that they're in the game now, so it's like it's worth going back and checking them out, messing around with them, seeing what I can get out of them. I like to go back on some of these earlier weapons as I have in the past as well. Because I really have the opinion that every weapon is a usable weapon if you build it right, and you know what its limitations are. No, not every weapon is a high-level game weapon, you know, but you can definitely set them better than what they used to be when they first came out. So sometimes we overlook some of these. Alright, we're going to play with the Vectis a little bit. I am extremely rusty on the Vectis, and my spot is really bad here. Okay. I'm extremely rusty on this thing. I used to be really good with it and just shoot it all the time, but I did change the build so it's not as fast as what I normally have it as. Oh, Spindex is down. Alright, let's get up there. Ow. I'm not as prepared with it, I guess. I'm getting back into it. This is just kind of a test build. I've actually taken off the critical and went with some other setups on here just to try it out. A little more damage setup and a little bit of what do you call it? Status chance on the Vectis, but let's just, yeah. I had to use the AKs right there to get out of that crowded area, you know. I think this week we'll start trying to tackle guides and builds a little bit more. Try to get into some more. Plan on getting at least, let's try to get a couple of them out here. Which ones yet, I'm not sure. Maybe a frame or two, a weapon or two. We'll see, but I want to start getting into getting a couple of those out and getting them updated. I know a lot of people looking for them. If there's any ones in particular you're looking for, please do leave them in the comments. I've got ideas of what I want to do first, but we'll see how they fit in line with what I want to do, and kind of move around with it. He's running without shields or extra health right now, so he's testing out the squishiness of his frame. I'm just trying to readjust my frames a little bit. You know, it's interesting because I'm used to with the Loki the Rage and Quick Thinking setup, and it actually still works pretty decently with the Loki, only because the Loki Prime here, because he has, you know, a 525 power pool if you can get it up that high. But because I have access to all of his abilities now, I'm shifting that around a bit and just trying a couple of different setups along the way here to see which one really makes me happiest, so I can properly utilize his abilities and still keep him strong enough to not die, hopefully. Well, that's close. That's pretty close. And I'm not carrying a melee because I was stupid enough not to pack a melee, so we're just gonna work with what we've got here. I've also still got the bug where sometimes the melee just locks up and isn't working anymore. I failed to avoid defense soloing with Loki because in round 5 or wave 5, whatever you want to call it, the screen got all messed up and suddenly I wasn't able to use my melee weapon, and I was only carrying these AkBoltos, and of course they're not really set up yet, so yeah, I ended up failing in the end because I just couldn't take on round 5 by myself there. Had the melee thing not got messed up and it actually stayed working, which I don't know, there's something between the melee and a power, if you use it at the wrong time or something like that, that it just suddenly gets stuck. I would have easily made it through that round. But also I am on the 3rd level now of the new Loco. What is it? The bountiful level, if you will. And so that's awesome. I've made it to that stage. Now that one though, it took 1 Orkin reactor and 100,000 credits to unlock that level. But that is one step closer to the augmented mods for me. I realize other people have already started posting the augmented mods and talking about them. We'll just keep my personal opinions on the side about that and how they're already running them. I'll just say I'm a little disappointed in some of this. But, alright. So yes, tell me what you're looking for, really. I think a lot of people are probably looking really for frame setups now when we're talking about the extra, you know, mod slots on the frames. It has been a challenge putting them together. It's also been a challenge trying to put some of these weapons together again. Like I said, I've messed around a little bit with the status duration mods. It doesn't work on every weapon. But some weapons are pretty good, you know, when you're basing a weapon off a status chance. You can kind of take other things down because you're going to have a duration on your status. If you're using the right procking, you know, it'll work out in your favor. You know, if you run a corrosive and you got a duration on the corrosive on high level bosses or high level enemies, you know, this is gonna take care of that for them. Or even like if you're running like a Torrid and you've got a status duration on the Torrid with its big toxin gas pool or whatever you put on it, that could be a pretty good thing as well. But it doesn't necessarily work with every weapon out there. Yeah, I still gotta go and find some of these mods, to be honest. But you know, we're working through it all. When I'm putting things together in terms of these builds, I'm thinking of, you know, what I want to do in terms of down the road when I do get the augmented mods. But I'm also putting builds together that are going to be without those mods, because not necessarily everybody's going to have those, and quite frankly, I don't even know that I'm going to like them, you know? Ooh, there, that was nice. The arc trap took them all there. I'm starting to get the feel on here, on the Vectis. Maybe. Not too bad. It's interesting. Because, you know, pretty much every frame now, when you have all the abilities available, it does make the gameplay totally different. Because you have the abilities to use them all, even if you don't have them all set up properly, if you will. You know, still, if you still cater to certain parts of the frame or certain abilities in a frame, at least you have the other ones there that you can work with. I think I'm going to start messing around with these AkBoltos a little bit more. I'm going to hit the former button on them, I think, once or twice. I think the first thing I'll do is take that stupid D slot out that was in it. It's not that it's a stupid slot, it's just that, you know, really, there isn't many things that can go in the D slot except for a deep freeze mod, the status mod, and you know, now that you've got dual stat mods and they're V slots, you don't really need to D slot too much. So we'll mess around with that. I think I definitely want to see how far I can take the AKs again, double little boltos. Good weapon. Yeah, I'm not that great right now with the Vectis. Still, it would take me a few missions to get used to it again. Probably end up just swapping some more stuff around. But anyway, so that's the setup. I'm gonna try to get some builds out this week. We'll try to get started on that. Anyway, if you have any questions or comments, as always, please do feel free to leave them below. If you like this, hit that like button. Oh yeah, 2260. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys in the next episode. We'll see you soon.